breaking down Estacado sports. This is the Matador Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good Monday evening. I don't think it's too late to say Happy New Year since I've not seen any or talked to any of you since the new year began. I think Larry David said that yesterday was the last time you could say Happy New Year, but I'm going to sneak it in anyway. I am Randy Rosetta. This is the High School Fan Zone. We're back after the holiday break, after the Caprock Classic, after a lot of stuff, and I'm excited because now, I bet this guy to the left of me is pretty excited too, because now this is when basketball season gets a little bit more routine. You get to practice, look at video, get ready to play, and then kind of go through that cycle. We're going to jump into the Matador Fan Zone right away. Tony Wagner, I'm going to say long time because we were just talking about how all your assistant coaches are getting younger.
Yeah.
Same for me.
Yeah.
Longtime Estacado coach Tony Wagner's to my left. The Matadors played a great game in the championship game of the Caprock Classic against Trinity Christian. I was trying to think about this, Wag. I've covered that thing for 6 or 7 years now. Seven of the last few years. I don't remember a boys' championship game being as good as that one for a while. You and Trinity went double overtime, just guys making plays, and I think I told you and Spencer Sutton both this afterwards. It wasn't just the frontline guys. It was guys who maybe don't always steal the spotlight, but other guys making plays. That was just a great high school basketball game the other night.
Yeah, it was fun for me and our guys. You know, I watched our little sophomores grow up, you know, in an atmosphere that I think that we'll be in again, you know, on down the road. And so it was exciting for me to see that those guys weren't intimidated and that they were willing to compete and play and contribute at a high level.
And I was starting to look at your roster. I didn't realize Hawkins is one of the sophomores. Mm-hmm. And that dude was fearless the other night. When you needed a big shot, now Shakur's going to make his big shots. Andre Langston's going to make his big shots. But you're going to need a third guy as you get later in the season who can take the ball and score.
I feel like he and Desmond Dixon both were just huge for us. You know, Desmond's been playing really well for us the last 4 or 5 games. Jerry L's he's getting to the point where he's getting comfortable. You know, he told me that he was afraid to mess up. That's why he hadn't been playing his best. I said, well, hey, man, I wouldn't have you out there if I didn't think you can help us. But he overcame that this past week. So I think that's one of the positive points for the Caprock Tournament for us is that our younger guys got to play in 2 very, very emotional games back-to-back, and they more than exceeded what my expectations.
You told me you had a pretty trustworthy right-hand man who took him aside and talked to him the other night, too, or before the other night.
Yeah, Kevin, I call him Kevin, with Coach K-Wag. He kind of pulled him to the side and just told him it's just basketball. You know, when I stop telling him stuff, that's when it's time to be worried. You know, as long as I'm coaching him, that means I'm believing in him. And so he took that to heart, and he's been outstanding in practice. He's been outstanding in the last few games.
Doing this long enough, sometimes I don't like it, but sometimes there's enough outside pressure on kids that they forget it's still just a game. You're still just a kid. Just go out and have fun, and stuff will happen. You'll be fine. You came back. You opened District 5 4A play, beat San Angelo Lakeview. This is a better San Angelo Lakeview team than you've seen before because you guys have kind of run away and hidden from them a few times. But they're off to a little bit better season. Beat them 77-61. To get that started, we're going to talk a lot about 2 of the games coming up, but especially this one coming up. It's going to be the HubCityPreps.com game of the night tomorrow night. You guys take your guys to Liberty, and I think I just looked at that. I was just doing some homework here. That is going to be in Class 4A. That's going to be number 9 Liberty against number 10 Estacado. You don't see top 10 or teams with games with 2 top 10 teams in Lubbock, Texas very often, but we got one Tuesday night.
Yeah, we do, and I think they got the order wrong. But we're gonna. I'm not joking. But I mean, I think it's gonna be fun tomorrow. It's gonna be fun to do play. I can't express the job and how much respect I have for Parker. Coach Hicks and the job that he's done and the job that he does with his kids and the preparedness that they have. I look forward to that, you know, as a coach, not only as our team battling just the chess match in the end game, decisions that we have to make and changes that we have to make in the game. And so he does. He's an outstanding young coach, man. I hate we're in the same district because I'd go watch him play more if we weren't. But we are, and I look forward to playing tomorrow.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about how the dynamic changed when they got up to 4A. It's a little bit different for just this 1 year too. We also got Memorial in there, another guy that you're friends with, CJ Villegas.
Yeah,
who they're a young team. They're still kind of trying to figure things out, and they're good. Don't get me wrong. They're still trying to figure it out. But I think it's cool that Estacado has somebody here in town now that you have district. I know you just said you don't like the fact that you got to play them, but a lot of times you guys get to the district season, and I know you've got to be creative on how to keep your guys kind of motivated and pushing.
Yeah, and again, it's fun. Even Levelland this year, he's doing a great job with them over there at Levelland, and so it's just some good young coaches in this district right now that's making it a little bit more competitive. It's always been competitive. I mean, 1 year we had 4 teams ranked in the top 15 in the state, and so, but it's fun seeing guys that you watch play come back and coach and be good coaches as well. And so that's what we have at Levelland. That's what we have at Liberty.
We'll go back to that thing where you and I are getting older and the coaches are getting younger. What is it? Did Kendall play somewhere around here? Kendall Durrett?
He played at Levelland.
Okay.
Yeah, so he played at Levelland. He was on, if I'm not mistaken, he may have been on the team that made it to the state tournament.
Okay.
So, I think he was on that team that made it to the state tournament. So he does a great job,
I've seen them play a couple of times, a little bit shorthanded against a really good Lubbock Christian team that didn't go so well for them. And then I believe they beat, I'm trying to think who I saw them play, and they get up and go. They're not shy about putting the ball up. What's cool about me in your district is there's some different styles, but there's also a lot of athletes who coaches can coach them, but sometimes the dude's got to go and make plays.
Yeah, and you just never know what you're going to run into. These guys do such a good job. You prepare for something, and you get there, and it's something totally different. So, again, I can't say enough about the coaches in our district and the job that they do.
Top 10 matchup in Lubbock, Texas. Let me make sure I've got this right. I'm going to look it up before I commit to anything. I know it's on one of the radio stations here out of Raymar. When I come back, I'll talk about that. That'll be on boys and girls. That's a boys-girls doubleheader. That's a good girls game tomorrow, too. Your Estacado girls actually beat Liberty twice last year. Liberty beat Levelland twice, so it was kind of a little bit of a round robin. That doubleheader is going to happen tomorrow night, and then Levelland comes to town and plays Memorial tomorrow night in town as well. Coming up on the break, we'll be back to talk more Estacado Matador hoops in the Matador Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Estacado athletics. You're listening to the Matador Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the second segment of the Matador Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta. The high school fan zone is back after a couple weeks off for Christmas. A lot happened basketball-wise, a lot of Caprock Classic. Liberty actually went to, I'm going to mess up the name, it used to be the Whataburger Classic. I think it's just called, I'm going to have to find it again. It's a big tournament. Friendship and Liberty both went there, and Liberty went and won that thing. They went and beat Salina, which wasn't a great team, but then they backed that up, beat Brock by a point, and beat Kennedale, which are two of the other 4A teams in your region. I believe Kennedale's in your region, aren't they?
Yes.
Those are teams you're going to have to I get confused by the big school, small school thing.
Yeah, you just never know who's going to be where, but it could potentially be a playoff opponent for sure.
Yeah. And if Parker's listening, he's probably going to kick me in the shins when I get here. That's been a little bit, that's what has kind of gotten in Liberty's way in a lot of sports so far, is getting past that district, that Brock and Kennedale, and that it's a different style of play. It's a different kind of kids out there. But that's, I don't know how much your kids or high school kids pay attention to what other teams have done, but I know coaches do. That had to have gotten your attention to see what they did at that tournament out in Dallas.
Well, I mean, we play good basketball here in West Texas. Yes, it's so underrated. Like, people start talking about these teams and how good they are, how good they're supposed to be. I mean, I think our district with us in Liberty this year would be as tough as any district in the state. I don't think there's teams that will just come in our district and just mow down everybody. Does that make sense? And so I was happy to see him go to Dallas and have some success. I make sure we go every year to play those type of teams, and I think that builds a reputation for not only his program but for us in West Texas as a whole. There's another team out here outside of Amarillo High, outside of Estacado, that's willing to come out here and play and compete, and not only compete and win. So I'm super happy they went out there and had that success.
Which I got to take a detour real quick because I saw you commented on this. I covered the Monterey Amarillo High boys game Friday afternoon. That's the closest I've ever sat to Coach Pillion. That is an active man when he's coaching. You saw the little video that popped up. He was making his point, and you could see why they're so good because his guys they listen to what he's saying and they feed off his passion, and that's something that your guys do. Watched it the other night against Trinity. Your guys fed off of you. Trinity's players fed off of Trinity. I'll get back on track here. I'm glad you said that, though, because you went to the state semifinals last year. You had to beat some good teams to get there. Liberty lost on a last-second shot. Otherwise, they may have been there right step for step with you because I remember seeing how it played out after that. There were teams they could have competed with and beaten. So this is going to be fun. I don't want to put the cart too far in front of the horse, but it's going to be fun when we get to later February with you two after you guys settle this thing tomorrow night, and then when you meet again, it's going to be fun to watch see what you guys do after that.
I look forward to it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about is competing at a high level, at a consistent level, And so anytime that we got an opportunity to do that, man, I'm for it. I look forward to that. Our kids look forward to that. The bigger the game, the better they play, it seems to me. And so and we've played really bad in some games that we probably shouldn't have lost, but they've all been lessons, So we learned a lot from those situations, and I just feel like we're at the stage where we've turned that corner. And so we're trying to build 1% better each day, 1% better each day, and then hopefully when it matters, it matters.
Because you guys I just wrote this about Paul Page's team, about how young they were, and you guys aren't much older than Friendship coming in this year. You had Shakur back.
That's it. They played.
Andre played some, but not much.
Andre played about 11 minutes a game last year, in spots, maybe one or two minutes, mostly 3 minutes a quarter, maybe. And Shakur was the only one that played minutes, like major minutes, and everybody else is new, basically. And so, but we have to say tradition never graduates. So I knew that going into the summer, and so we worked on those things, and we worked to build and to get some guys going, to develop some guys. Those sophomores, they got to see a different side of me this summer and during TABC and then off season and stuff like that. So, because I knew we were going to have to depend on them to have some success, we weren't making excuses.
Yeah, but there's no transfer portal in high school, no official transfer portal in high school sports. You don't get to go and get players to come. You coach the guys that show up, which has worked pretty well for you. I called you a long-time coach. What year is this for you at Estacado?
This is my 26th year at Estacado. I think this is like my 17th or 18th as a head coach. Came
with Tim Thomas, who's, I'm going to guess, is probably having another good season. Saw him a few years ago against Friendship in the third or fourth round. That dude's always been able to coach.
Yeah, he can do it.
Just a little bit.
He can do it.
Again, number 9, Liberty. Host, number 10, Estacado. Maybe switch the order in Tony's thinking there. 7:30 tomorrow night. That's going to wrap us up. We'll be back after the break in the Plainsville Fan Zone on the High School Fan Zone.